Kingdom. We're here to take a look at my top 10 best VR games of all times. Let's begin. This list is, again, my personal list. It may not line up with what you believe to be the top 10 games of all time. So I'm encouraging you guys to go down below in the comments and do your own personal top 10 list, because I would be super intrigued to see if there's something I've missed, if there's something that you think is better equipped to be on this list. And hey, perhaps I've never played it. I have only included games in this list that I have personally played myself and enjoyed, and henceforth why they have become part of my top 10 games of VR. So to explain, I have included on my list games that were exclusive to Oculus, games that were exclusive to PSVR, and games that just about anybody in the world with a VR headset can play. So I've tried to be inclusive to all platforms, and if you guys want another top 10 list that's more inclusive to specific platform types, then definitely hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. If there's something you want to see, do you want to see a top 10 free games list? I'm thinking that could be something interesting. But whatever, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments down below so that I can actually, know that you want to see it. In at number 10, we have Blade and Sorcery. Now, the reason I picked this game to go at number 10 and not higher is because it's a game that doesn't have a story to it. So if you're unfamiliar with the game, it is a fantasy sword fighting game where you can go in and literally live out your fantasies, your childhood fantasies of sword fighting with your mates, only this time it's with a bunch of AI and they's dumb as butter, but you have a lot of fun enjoying smashing, crashing, slicing and dicing your way through the hordes of people. You can do it with magic, you can do it with swords, and if that doesn't tickle your fancy, well then there is a insanely huge modding community that goes alongside the game, where honestly, if you can think of it, there's probably a mod bin created for it and you can get in there and enjoy yourself in ways unimaginable to any other style of gaming other than VR. Which is why it's up there on my list, because quite frankly, it is an incredible game. And not only is it an incredible fun game to play, the development team behind the game are ridiculously on it. They are forever updating the game and they are forever making it better and better with each update. So I have to say, for that, it's why it made it onto the list. And not just that, but it has given me endless hours of fun in VR pretty much since the day I bought into PC VR. And that's why it's my 10 on the list. Number 9. Number 9 on the list is Vader Immortal, the series. Episode 1, 2 and 3 all included in this for that, because they're essentially the same game. They just got released in chapters. The reason I picked this for the list is, man alive, if you're a Star Wars fan, it would almost convince you to buy a VR headset just to experience this. Meeting Vader up close and personal, going through some of the scenarios and experiences from the universe, and damn dude, the visuals in that game are second to none. It's an incredibly well put together game, and in my opinion it was just a thrill to go through. Holding a lightsaber, obviously fun. Going through it, experiencing having the force powers, the enjoyment of just being included into that universe in virtual reality. Once again, a thing that you just cannot achieve with any other style of game in my opinion. So it's well up there, guys. It's an Oculus exclusive and I struggled with where to put this on my list. So I made it in at number 9 purely because honestly I struggled to know where to place this game in my list. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, making this top 10 list proved to be a lot harder than I was ever expecting. I started this and I was scratching my head constantly. In at number 8, I Expect You to Die. This game was one of my early experiences. I played it on PSVR first, I then further played it on PC VR because it continued to update the game. And man, I have nothing but good memories of this. If you're into your puzzle solving type games, then this is definitely going to be the one for you. You play as a quirky agent going through what can only be described as a comic book-esque 007 experience of puzzle solving and trying not to die. And there's a reason they expect you to die, and that's because you fail while you're experiencing these things. And it's fun, super good challenge, and all round just a colourful experience that is just unlike anything else I've really played in VR, especially within the escape sort of type game genre. There is so much good that I could say about this game, but honestly, I wouldn't want to ruin the experience for you. If you have not played I Expect You to Die, I 100% recommend that you should get out there, get it on your list, because it's a fantastic game. And if you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I Expect You to Die is a brilliant game. So that's why I made it in at number 8, baby. Number 7. Coming in at number 7, we have Hellsplit Arena. This game has brought me nothing but fun while playing this. It has an incredible campaign that I honestly enjoyed so much. I played it twice. I did it in regular mode, then going through it in hardcore mode because, man, again, this is more of a kind of fantasy style sword fighting game, which honestly allows you to have some insane fun combat. The AI in this is pretty intelligent as well, which is quite fun and leads to some really fun battles, especially against the bosses, which are very challenging and just lead to an all-round fun experience, man. And I gotta say, personally, I've really enjoyed this. There's also like a mess around mode where you can go into like a sandbox level and just have some fun. Again, adding to the replay value, which is why I've just enjoyed this game so much. One of the other pro points I would say behind this game is the development team. They care a lot about what they're making and they really seriously put a lot of effort into improving the game continuously. We're actually waiting a huge update for this game that's going to be coming out pretty soon, which is going to cover a whole lot of new things, new maps, new things. It's exciting. But for real, you know, if you haven't experienced that game, now would be a great time to get into it. Not only would it be fun to play through the campaign, like I've said before, but you've got some new content that's coming out on it that you can look forward to. And man, it's just got a lot of life in it, in my opinion. So I think that you will enjoy it and it will be fun. Personally, I've put way too many hours into the game, and that's why it's made it in number 7. Number 6, Beat Saber. Well, Beat Saber had to make its way onto this list somewhere, I guess, because it is pretty much the game that everyone knows VR for. Beat Saber. Slicing, dicing, lightsaber fun, bit of dance and rhythm, you know, get the job done. I don't feel like there's much I can particularly say about this game other than it is probably the best in its genre of beat games. It offers an insane amount of fun and customizability by, you know, uploading your own songs to it. There's a lot of dance patterns and rhythms that you can change, so you can have like pretty much endless fun in that game. Also, while keeping semi-fit while doing it. Once again, I kind of feel like there's not a lot I can say about this game. If you don't know about Beat Saber, then I'm surprised, but quite frankly, it is probably one of the most leading titles on VR because they push it a lot. I've had a lot of fun on that game myself personally. I never really recorded it for the channel due to the copyright claims issue, because a lot of the songs are copyright. So I personally don't upload videos on it, but I know that there is an insanely huge community of people that love to play that game for their channels, and I can understand why, because it's very satisfying to go through, no different to the Guitar Hero days of the yonder. Number 5, Boneworks, Stress Level Zeros, baby. Man, Boneworks is an incredible experience. It is not for the faint of hearted. If you don't have your VR legs yet, it's probably not recommended to play this game because it will test you and push your limits in a fairly honest way. I mean, it does warn you as you open the game that this isn't for the faint of hearted, and it's not because of the level of violence in it. It's purely because of the way that the movement is in the game is very, very one-to-one, and it is very fluid, which can lead some people to feel motion sickness in games like this. But I have to say personally, I do have my VR legs and it didn't bother me, and I still play it to this day in sandbox mode. The story to this wasn't the strongest story, which is kind of where it landed at 5, but it was an enjoyable experience nonetheless to play through the campaign, and all in all, I really enjoyed the game. The physics of it is pretty much second to none in VR. And all round the game just performed amazingly, you know. But the only thing with me personally in this game is that I felt like the story wasn't the strongest, so therefore that's why it landed knocking down a few points on here. I mean, I've said it before already, but I struggled making this list. It's really hard. But number 5 for Boneworks. If you haven't seen it, you really should give it a go. You really should, because it's incredible. But like I say, it's not for the faint of hearted. If you're not used to VR, probably not the best title to get into and play for your very first game, as in like you probably shouldn't do that for your very first game. But nonetheless, it's an incredible game with a lot of incredible experiences and quite frankly the best physics in PC VR at this point. Number 4, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. This game has it all: physics, fun, and zombie slaying destruction. Man, I love this game a lot, and I have nothing but good stuff to say about this, as I'm sure pretty much the entirety of the world will agree that have played it, that this game is an incredible experience. It didn't even need the Walking Dead title to be attached to it, quite honestly, because it was a standalone amazing game in its own right. Personally, I love the Walking Dead universe, and I like the franchise of The Walking Dead in its entirety, so for me it was a big bonus. But like I say, they could have sold this game without that title added to it and it still would have performed and sold just as well, because what they did within this game was create a universe that felt so great to be in. You know, getting in there, feeling like that apocalyptic situation was happening, you know, hunting through homes, scavenging for materials to be able to build your stuff out of, going through, stabbing up some Z's, and getting creative in your destructive methods. Everything about the game was very good, the story was very strong, and in my opinion it was probably one of the strongest experiences. That's why it's made it at number 4, and that is why I personally would recommend that game to pretty much anyone. And not just that, it's available on pretty much all platforms. It's even coming to the Quest some point in the very near future, so it's a very accessible game for most VR users. Number 3, man, Lone Echo is in at number 3 for me. An exclusive to Oculus, but works perfectly with Revive. I know, because I did it that way. But no, all joking aside, like this game, man, Lone Echo was one of the best VR experiences I've probably ever had. Mainly because its way and its mode of transport in the game was weightlessness, so you pull yourself around using your hands, you don't have any sort of thumbstick movements going on here. It's just an incredible way to experience VR. Plus it came out a very long time ago, and it still to this day has some of the strongest standing visuals that are in any game really in VR. It's an incredible story that just completely immerses you into it, and I loved it. I loved every single second of playing Lone Echo. I couldn't recommend it enough. Lone Echo 2 is on its way, hopefully very soon, but I mean, you know, we'll just have to keep on waiting for a date on that. But no, seriously, if you haven't played Lone Echo, like I said, it's a very immersive game. You will get into it, you will care about the characters, and you will love it. There's no maybes, you will love it. And it is still to this day one of my top games I've ever played in VR. Number 2. Number 2 on my list is Blood and Truth, a PSVR exclusive. I loved this game to death. Not only was it just insanely well made, and not only did it run on a PSVR, but yet still look so freaking stunning, but it was just an insanely well-made game. Everything about this was the flagship title, you know, that came actually from just a demo that they put out with PSVR when it came out, and everyone sort of had an outcry and wanted a full game, so they made a full game for it, and man, did they deliver. The story was everything that a London gangster story should be, and honestly, it just played like an action movie. You know, you felt like you were in it the whole way, fully immersed in the scenarios, fully immersed in the visuals, and just 100% enjoying every single second of bullet tringing, bullet shooting, pow 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 action. Now, there wasn't a minute that I wasn't entertained while I played that game, and honestly that's why it's made it up to number 2. I feel like people probably would disagree with me on this being the second on the list, but honestly, for me personally, this was one of those experiences that I'll truly never forget. I really hope that they do something else with that game in the future, other than just sort of the tagged on things that they've done, like shooting ranges and stuff. I want another full game. Let's continue the story, let's continue it, and just damn dude, it was a fantastic game. I can't say enough good about it, other than 100% if you own PSVR, you should check this out. The saddest part about this game for me is that it will probably never be released on any other platform other than the PlayStation, and it should be. God, I wish it could be, but it's a flagship exclusive. Very unlikely it's going to come to anything else. Number 1! Fairly unsurprisingly, I'm imagining for most of you that my number 1 is HalfLife Alex. This game was insane. Now, combine virtually everything else that I've told you from this list, squeeze it into one title, and you have yourself HalfLife Alex. In my opinion, it was an incredible game. From start to finish, I enjoyed every single second of it. I loved the physics about it. They handled everything in that game in a way that was very user-friendly, in my opinion. They could have gone a bit more hardcore like Boneworks if they had wanted to, but in general they handled it so that I guess anyone could pick up a headset and it could be their first game to play and they would feel secure while doing so. The game itself was so fleshed out and the world felt so real and immersive to be in that honestly you could forget that you're not playing a game sometimes while playing it, and that level of immersion, it just doesn't happen often enough in my opinion for games, but damn dude, they achieved it. I'm not the most hardcore of Half-Life fans in the entire world. I mean, I've played the other titles. I'm not die-hard for it, but still that speaks for itself that I enjoyed it this much and just loved playing it as much as I did, because it's just a well-made game. I mean, you can't ask more for that. So that concludes our list, guys. I hope you've enjoyed sitting here and hearing my own personal top 10 VR games of all time. If you disagree with them, let me know in the comments down below. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I'd love for you guys to go down there and put your own personal top 10 lists and see, well, I'd just be interested to see what you actually have and what you come up with and discuss with each other. Don't argue, discuss what your top games are and why. And I would just love to hear. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What are your feelings? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed this video, guys, make sure you smash a big old like on it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, because there's a lot of cool stuff on here, mainly content surrounding gaming, but now I'm starting to branch out in doing other things as well. So if you enjoy that side of things, then please do subscribe and join the kingdom today. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Once again, I've been Rhys. Take it easy, guys and girls. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.